Alright, so welcome to a small little tutorial about Witchery and, well, putting together an automated Witchery oven. So what I have going on for me right here, I had seen someone else do this, and they used a whole bunch of micro blocks for the attack of the Bteam, and it looked good, except for it was extremely hard to understand. So here's a small tutorial that's a little bit more clean. It lets people see what's actually going on. You know, you can call it a clutter or whatever. But what we have here is we have our clay jars and our charcoal feeding into the bottom of the witch's oven. Now, things come out the back side of the witch's oven. That's how it works. I didn't know that when I tried to do this from the one video I watched. So what I did, I went ahead and it took me like 2 maybe more hours trying to figure it out. But I finally figured it out by doing it this way instead of trying to do his setup. So we have our finished products coming out, and I have them sorting into, well, you know, the generalized deep storage units. Alright, so items like the saplings have to come in through the top to come here. Items through the bottom, of course, have to come in through the bottom. And of course, everything comes out the back. So here we have this little item frame that pretty much demonstrates it. Alright, so we have our deep storage units and chest, our saplings that feed through item pipe to witch's oven to the top, items out the back, and items like jars and charcoal coming in from the bottom of the witch's oven. Alright, so here's the way I have it set up. I have a deep storage unit for every one of the saplings we have. You can put pneumatic servos or pneumatic servos into the tops, and you can whitelist the items so it only sorts that item into that slot. And you just wrench them down. They'll unclog themselves when there's room, and use whatever ones is available. And over here I have a whole bunch of redstone furnaces. These are burning all the different various woods, and the same thing is done with this one. I put in pneumatic servos and whitelisted what kind of wood I want into that deep storage. And yeah, damn it. Anyway, the wood will come out on the bottom, go into an open furnace. Out comes the charcoal and into the deep storage to be used. The reason I went with deep storage is, you know, it is endless holding of whatever wood or item. One item. Over here we have our jars. Our jars, single furnace, nothing special. Alright, if we go over here, I'll show you this here. We have sewage being made by mobs going into composers or composters, and then being fed into the fertilizer, which you don't really have to put a pneumatic servo on these to make them run. You just got to wrench them out. We have our planter planting saplings. We have a harvester harvesting, and a sludge boiler. These are important items. Sludge boiler, of course, will make the sludge into usable items. These usable items are fed into this chest, And the only ones you want out of here is clay. So I put all the other ones down here in East storage. And this thing makes up to 14 different items from sludge. Clay being one of them. So everything's got a unit except for clay. Alright, so clay comes out, goes up this pipe, and gets sorted into the logs in clay pipe. Okay, you'll have to use somatic servos to whitelist the items you want it to take in. Yeah. Okay, so what we have here now is a cycloassembler, and it takes a schematic. If you hold your shift, you can see what it's got a schematic of. The items will collect here. If it's a fluid, it'll collect here. And we have this one set up making clay jars. So clay comes in and fed out into our clay smelting oven. We have this one whitelisted for only clay. So all the logs go up instead of coming down. If you want to make this part, unless you don't want to, you can do it this way, or you can make your own jars. It's optional. But to make a schematic, you need 2 paper and 1 lapis and a machinist workbench. And what you'll do is you'll put your item in here. You'll put a piece of paper there, the schematic, hit right, and it will give you a new schematic for that. You'll put that in this thing, and this thing does take powers, and it will make these things as fast as humanly possible, or inhumanly as possible. Let's see, let's go clay. Let's get a few stacks of those and I'll demonstrate that. Okay, we'll just throw these in there and it just booms just that quickly. It's done and they're off. Once they get over here to the oven, of course it cooks it and it goes into a deep storage unit over here and gets fed into here. Now I've ran this thing legitimately for a little while and it's only made a couple. It's a slow rate if you go through the sludge boiler, and you always have to watch out for the sludge boiler. It will poison you, give you hunger, and it kind of hurts. I had this set up over here for saplings, the store saplings that were not going to be being used. But yeah, it's for an overflow of saplings for that particular kind. What I've ran into a problem with is, of course, not all the saplings are being planted right or whatever. So I'm not sure how to fix that one problem. But it's still running. It's been running for a good hour like this. So this is the basic tutorial on how to do this. I hope you enjoyed it. It's not overly complicated. There's another way of doing making of clay, but I don't really favor that way. It seems like too much of a hassle. So I've just been doing it this way.